Dames en here, die akademiese prosesie sal binnekort inbeweeg. U word versoek om asseblief op te staan.
Bomma le bontate, molokoloko wa dirutegi o tla tsena mo nakong e kopana. Le kgopelwa ho ema. Ladies and gentlemen, the academic procession will enter shortly. You're kindly requested to stand.
By the power vested in me, I hereby constitute this assembly as a legal congregation of the University of Pretoria. During this assembly, degrees with all the associated rights and privileges will be awarded on the candidates whose names appear in the programs. Please take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, we request you to join us in silent prayer and meditation to give thanks for the achievements of our students. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Loretta Ferris, and I'm the Vice Principal Academic at the University of Pretoria. And on behalf of the University of Pretoria, I would like to extend a word of welcome to all of us here this afternoon. But in particular, I would like to acknowledge our honorary doctoral recipient today, Ambassador Kamau, the Dean of the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences, Professor Erasmus, the Deputy Dean for Research and Postgraduate Studies, Professor Maharaj, the Director at the University for Enrollment and Student Administration, Dr. Mateja, all chairpersons of school, all heads of departments, all directors, emeriti, honorary professors, and all of our staff and their spouses and partners. Also want to acknowledge the representative of the Students' Representative Council, Nosli Jali, who will present the SRC Academic Honorary Colors. And then, of course, the reason why we are here this afternoon, a warm word of welcome to each and everyone who will be receiving a certificate that says, I've made it. Everyone who will be graduating here today, feel welcome. This is your special day. And then, of course, you have with you your family, your spouses, your partners, your children maybe, your friends. Welcome to them as well. And then finally, if there are any dignitaries who we may not be aware of, we'd like to welcome them as well. This is, of course, a special time for us as a university. Over the period of May, we would have conferred 12,500 degrees approximately to students who have concluded their studies here at the university. But this afternoon is a very special one, and I want to start by requesting the Dean to introduce to me the candidate for the Honorary Doctorate.
Madam Vice Principal, I have the honor of introducing to you Ambassador Macharia Kamau for the conferment of the degree Doctor of Science honoris causa. Ambassador Macharia Kamau is currently serving as Ambassador and Special Envoy of the East African Community on the Eastern DRC, appointed by the Kenyan government to help bring peace to the Eastern DRC. Ambassador Kamau is also Chair of the Oversight Committee on Global Science Missions for Sustainability and an Honorary Fellow of the International Science Council. He's currently the Chairman of the United Nations Secretary General's Advisory Committee for the Peacebuilding Fund. In 24 years, he has held various leadership positions in the different branches of the United Nations, private industry, and in the ministries of his home country of Kenya. He has received several awards, including the Gold Medal Elizabeth Haupt Award for Environmental Diplomacy, the Distinguished Alumni Award from his alma mater, and has been decorated twice by his own country for his service to his nation. Ambassador Kamau is a graduate of Worcester College, Worcester, Ohio, and Harvard University, Massachusetts. For this honorary doctorate, we focus on his pivotal role in the multilateral negotiations that ultimately established the Sustainable Development Goals, known as the SDGs, as well as the subsequent negotiations for the United Nations Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, which was universally adopted in 2015. Both of these achievements, the SDGs and Agenda 2030, are considered the greatest two outcomes of the United Nations in recent history. Ambassador Kamau was the co-chair of the Open Working Group that worked from 2012 to 2014 to negotiate, build consensus, and finalize the 17 SDGs and associated actions. Without his leadership, diplomacy, and intellect, this process that involved the direct participations of almost 200 negotiators from every country in the world would not have had the buy-in and support of all stakeholders and would not have been as successful as it still is to this day. The SDGs are universal, transparent, inclusive, and interconnected. At a time in human history when the ability of many countries to work together was in question, the agreement on SDGs through a multilateral process was a major achievement for the United Nations. In closing, I would like to quote the President of the 69th General Assembly of the United Nations, the Honorable Sam K. Kutesa, Minister of Foreign Affairs of Uganda, at the start of his term. He said, "The world is indebted to Ambassador Kamau for his steadfast leadership on the SDGs and the 2030 Agenda. It took an immense amount of personal sacrifice to steer the negotiations to a successful conclusion. Without his leadership, the world would not have the most transformative agenda of our time for the benefit of the people, the planet, and the prosperity of our world. I am proud of Ambassador Kamau's work. I am also proud of him as an African, a world citizen, and a global diplomat. The legacy of his work will remain with us for years to come." End quote. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the honorary doctorate on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Science honoris causa with all the associated rights and privileges on Ambassador Kamau. Congratulations. I have the honor of requesting Ambassador Macharia Kamau to please present us with a speech.
The Chancellor of the University of Pretoria and the Vice Principal, honorable members of the academic community, graduating class of 2025, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, and my family. I stand before you today deeply humbled and profoundly honored to receive this Doctorate of Science. This moment is more than a recognition of past efforts. It is a solemn reflection on a journey that began decades ago, a journey shaped by history, defined by struggle, uplifted by resilience, and transformed by the boundless power of knowledge. I was born in Kenya in 1958, 5 years before our nation gained independence. It was a time when the heavy weight of colonial rule still pressed down upon our people. My parents were not only witness to that era, they were actors in its transformation. My father was detained in a British colonial concentration camp for nearly 5 years. And my mother, barely 21 years at the time, carried the unimaginable burden of raising 2 children alone under harassment and torment. But even in the darkest days, my parents emerged with hope, unyielding hope. They believed in a better tomorrow, and they taught us to believe in it too. That inheritance of courage and vision is the foundation upon which I stand today. The 1960s and 70s were decades of awakening, not only for Kenya, but for the entire world. Our independence in 1963 brought a surge of national pride and possibility. Around the globe, the civil rights movement, anti-colonial revolutions, the anti-apartheid movement, the youth-led calls for justice were shaping the world throughout the planet. As a young man, I believed, as many did then, that political struggle was the engine of transformation, and indeed, political will is necessary. But over the decades, experience has deepened my understanding. Today, I stand before you as a fervent believer in the power of science, not as an abstract idea, but as a real and living force for good. Science has the power to heal, to illuminate, to liberate. It addresses poverty and disease, confronts climate change, challenges injustice, and uplifts humanity. It gives us not only answers, but direction. It is not merely a tool, it is a path to dignity, equity, and sustainable peace. In my time working with the United Nations, I had the honor of chairing the process of developing the Sustainable Development Goals, goals that aim to lift every person, every nation, towards a better future. These goals are not born from speeches alone. They were built on evidence, driven by data, and inspired by the human spirit. Whether protecting biodiversity, ending hunger, or promoting peace, each one speaks to the essential role of science in securing our common future. But there is a warning. We must be vigilant. Where science is excluded from decision-making, whether in our homes, our institutions, or our governments, misinformation thrives. Prejudice multiplies. Short-term thinking prevails. Too many African nations, my own included, have suffered from chronic underinvestment in science and innovation. This is not merely a technical oversight, it is a developmental tragedy. As Kenya's ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations, I saw firsthand the challenges that confront developing nations, challenges that include underfunded universities, inadequate infrastructure, and limited access to global scientific networks. This must change. The advancement of science is not a luxury for the wealthy. It is a necessity for all humanity. It is not merely a national task. It is a global duty. But science today faces real threats: the rise of populism, the denial of evidence, the erosion of civil liberties and rational discourse. We must not be silent. We must stand up together, old and young, to defend reason, to protect research, and to uphold truth in public life. So as we look ahead, as we focus on artificial intelligence, biotechnology, clean energy, sustainable food systems, etc., these are the frontiers of our time. But whether they usher in a new age of equity or deepen existing divides depends not only on innovation, but on inclusion, on values, on governance that surrounds them. Universities, policymakers, and citizens alike must ensure that science serves all humanity and serves it justly. As I accept this honorary doctorate of science, I do so not as an individual achievement, but as a tribute to the countless mentors, educators, family members, and visionaries who helped shape this path. To the University of Pretoria, thank you for your 117 years of academic excellence, and of course for this gracious recognition. To my beloved family, my wife, my children, and to the memory of my courageous parents, thank you for your unwavering love and support. To my mentors and colleagues across the years, thank you for your guidance, your challenge, and your camaraderie. And finally, to you, the graduating class of 2025, congratulations. You are stepping into a world that desperately needs your talent, your courage, and your vision. This is not the end. This is a commencement. This is a beginning. The world is waiting, and it needs you more than ever. So well done, and Godspeed. Thank you very much.
Ambassador Kamau, thank you very much. Thank you for your contribution to science diplomacy. Thank you for your contribution to this continent. And thank you for sharing a little bit of your history and heritage with us this afternoon, and the way that it has undoubtedly shaped your own journey along this path that has led you to this moment. But thank you also for reminding us that science is important, but that it is science in a context where we apply it for good, for social justice, to ensure equity and inclusivity. Thank you again. I now request the Dean to introduce to me the candidates present whose names appear in the program.
Madam Vice Principal, the supervisors or heads of department will now introduce the doctoral candidates.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Sammy Kabangu Katumba, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophia Doctor, with a thesis titled Spatial Statistical Analysis and Modeling of Poverty and Racial Segregation, Residential Segregation in Gauteng, South Africa, prepared under the supervision of Prof. Serena Kutsia and with myself and Professor Alfred Steyn as co-supervisors. In this thesis, the candidate explored novel applications of spatial statistical analysis and modeling of aggregated data describing two socio-economic phenomena, namely poverty and segregation in Gauteng Province, South Africa. Poverty is a multidimensional socio-economic challenge that continues to affect many households living in previously segregated neighborhoods in South Africa. The candidate employed spatial statistical methods that explicitly consider the spatial relationships among the neighborhoods and wards in their mathematical formulations. This thesis fills critical gaps in understanding poverty and racial residential segregation. The results and recommendations emanating from this thesis hold the potential to inform spatially targeted policies aimed at alleviating poverty and inducing racial residential integration. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate. Congratulations.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Lebogang Manamela, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophy Doctor with a thesis entitled Cellulose Metal Organic Framework Nanocomposite Adsorbent Films for Water Remediation, prepared under my supervision. In this thesis, Lebogang Manamela presents the design and development of novel cellulose-based adsorbents that are effective for removing organic pollutants from water. By utilizing various forms of cellulose, including nanocellulose, and incorporating metal organic frameworks, he produced high-performance adsorbents capable of operating across a broad pH range. These materials demonstrated admirable pollutant removal from laboratory samples, municipal wastewater, and industrial effluent. In his study, he also addressed challenges in adsorbent regeneration and scalability, offering a promising pathway towards affordable point-of-use water treatment systems for households. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and principles on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Tato Manamela, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophia Doctor, with a thesis titled Expanding the Cosmological Frontier of Hydroxyl with Meerkat, prepared under the supervision of Professor Roger Dean. In this thesis, the candidate explored distant galaxies using South Africa's Meerkat radio telescope, a precursor to the Square Kilometre Array, or the SKA. This work focuses on bright radiospectral line emission regions called hydroxyl megamazes, or OHMs, often found in gas-rich emerging galaxy pairs with intense star formation or accreting supermassive black holes. In this project, the gravitational lensing, the magnification of background light by massive foreground elements, a phenomenon predicted by Einstein, is used to study the OHMs at far greater cosmic distances than previously possible. This thesis reports the discovery of an OHM at a record distance in a galaxy 8 billion light years away. The project demonstrates Meerkat's exceptional capability to detect these faint signals across the universe and provides a proof of concept of how the SKA will revolutionize this field. Madam Vice Principal, I request you confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Ntobisi Delisa Masilela, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophy Doctor with a thesis entitled The Morphology and Genesis of the Gobolo Granite Cave System in Eswatini, which was prepared under my supervision. In this thesis, the candidate developed a comprehensive understanding of granite caves, focusing on the Gobolo Cave System in Eswatini. Through field observations, measurements, remote sensing, mineralogical and chemical analysis, as well as water quality assessments, the study investigated the morphology and genesis of this cave system. It was determined that the Gobolo Cave System has a polygenic origin with various geomorphic processes contributing to its formation. Tectonic activity, mechanical and biochemical weathering, as well as mass movement and fluvial erosion, all played key roles in shaping the cave system. The study postulates that the area's history of climatic, isostatic, and structural events influenced the development of the cave system, leading to its current state. The work further shows that caves do not only develop in carbonate rocks. Madam Vice Principal, I request that you confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate. Congratulations.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce you Ms. Hauhelo Mohano, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophy Doctor, with a thesis titled A Spatio-Temporal Analysis of Animals and Human Rabies in Northern South Africa between 1998 and 2022. In this thesis, the candidate demonstrated the value of combining mathematical models, molecular epidemiology, sociological factors, geospatial data to analyze rabies transmission dynamics in Northern South Africa. The study used historical data, social ecological insights, and phylogenetic construction to identify hotspots, key reservoir species such as black jackal. It reveals that the most significant human rabies outbreak occurred in the Vembe district and was associated with dog bites. Animal rabies peaked during the dry seasons. The study finds that temperatures between 22 and 28 degrees and low precipitation promote rabies transmission, offering crucial insights for public health and targeted control strategies in South Africa. This comprehensive study sheds light on the complex transmission dynamics of rabies in Northern South Africa. It paves the way for targeted public health interventions that can curb the spread of the disease and enhance both public and veterinary health. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate. Congrats.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Samira Mohammed, who's complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophia Doctor with a thesis titled Chemical Reactivity of Bushveld Igneous Complex Mine Residues for Mineral Beneficiation, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Frederick Doucet as co-supervisor. In her thesis, the candidate investigated the extraction of strategic elements from solid mine residues from the Bushveld Igneous Complex. These residues contain valuable metals and minerals, but currently lack efficient and economically viable methods for their extraction and utilization. Extractive acid leaching and thermochemical treatment processes using ammonium sulfate as an extracting agent were used to investigate the reactivity of mineral phases and elemental extraction from various mine residues. With this foundation in place, the candidate explored and developed methodologies for the conversion of these solid mine residues into potentially valuable products, including calcium aluminate and silica nanoparticles. This study produced for the first time high-purity silica nanoparticles from plagioclase-rich mine residues. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Leonardo Tambua Nchinda, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophia Doctor with a thesis titled Investigating the Stability and Photophysics of organic solar cell active layers based on multi-component polymer materials, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Niweye Medin Degegne from Addis Ababa University in Ethiopia as co-supervisor. In his thesis, the candidate investigated the impact of thermal annealing on the morphology and ultrafast charge dynamics in 3 terpolymers comprising 1 electron donor and 2 types of electron acceptors, designed for organic solar cell applications. By employing femtosecond transient absorption spectroscopy alongside morphological characterization techniques, the candidate unraveled the underlying molecular mechanisms governing ultrafast exciton generation and charge dynamics within the polymers. He demonstrated that incorporation of 1 acceptor enhanced the thermal stability of the polymers, while incorporation of the other acceptor improved their molecular structure, leading to better intermolecular interactions. The results of this research give fundamental insights into the molecular mechanisms underlying the degradation of terpolymers and the functioning of terpolymer-based solar cells, thus paving the way for more efficient and stable organic photovoltaic systems. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Stephen Pakula, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophy Doctor with a thesis titled Atmospheric Predictability over Southern Africa on Sub-Seasonal to Seasonal Timescales, prepared under my supervision and with a very capable Dr. Christine Engelbrecht as co-supervisor. In this thesis, the candidate developed a prediction system for maximum and minimum temperatures at sub-seasonal to seasonal timescales, also known as S2S. The thesis demonstrates that the deterministic forecast skill or the forecast models at S2S timescales is limited to only 2 weeks lead time, while the probabilistic forecast skill of the models through statistical downscaling improves forecast skill to up to 4 weeks lead time. The S2S timescale is important because it bridges the gap between weather forecasts and seasonal climate forecasts and is relevant for decision-making and early warning across a range of sectors such as agriculture, water, energy, and disaster risk management. This thesis has also led to the development of an operational forecasting system at the South African Weather Service. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, I introduce to you Mcebisi Abaqaba, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophy Doctor with a thesis titled Towards the Development of a National Woody Canopy Cover Product and Uncertainty Analysis using Passive and Active Remote Sensing Data, prepared under my supervision and with Dr. Laven Naidu, Professor Abel Ramuelo, and Professor Moses Cho as co-supervisors. In his thesis, the candidate assessed and developed methods for mapping and monitoring woody vegetation cover at different spatial scales by integrating active and passive remote sensing data with machine learning algorithms. The body of work presented in this thesis represents a significant advancement in our understanding of the impacts of vegetation heterogeneity and scale in woody canopy cover models. The candidate demonstrated that integrating passive and active remote sensing data offers complementary information for accurately estimating woody canopy cover across distinct woody ecosystems of South Africa. Furthermore, he demonstrated the uncertainty levels of the developed woody canopy cover models nationally. The nationwide woody canopy cover products produced in this thesis have significant implications for effectively monitoring and managing woody vegetation in South Africa. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice President, I introduce to you Duan Swart, who has complied with the requirements for the degree Philosophia Doctor with a thesis titled Evaluating Hydraulic and Mechanical Properties of Weathered Intrusive and Chemical Sedimentary Bedrock in South Africa, prepared under my supervision. In this thesis, the candidate developed a novel concept to better predict compression behavior in a weathered rock profile. The study was conducted using traditional geotechnical laboratory methods, and the results were compared and analyzed using advanced visual techniques. The findings showed a close relationship between the chemical and physical states of a completely weathered rock, and this allowed for determining the structural prominence, characterizing the degree to which the relic rock structure influences the compression behavior. The structural prominence decreases as chemical weathering increases, and consequently this increases the compressibility of the material, regardless of the void ratio or dry density. The structural prominence can assist engineering geologists and geotechnical engineers in better understanding the behavior of completely weathered rock and residual soil. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to confer the degree on the candidate.
I hereby confer the degree Doctor of Philosophy with all its associated rights and privileges on the candidate.
Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Master of Science, specializing in chemistry. Honorary de Kock, with distinction. Nwabisa Ketula, with distinction. Mak, with distinction. Aritondahau Makari. Boitumelo Nokeri, with distinction. Saraswati Sharma, with distinction. Petra van der Merwe, with distinction. Thank you. Petra. In environmental management, Jacques Botha, with distinction. Zinat Patel, with distinction. Abhishek Pasha. Chapisho Ratlahane. Renee Grundling. Pilani Apleni, with distinction. Yoliswa Mkize, with distinction. Just wait for it. No, you can stand. Mutakuzi Ragimana. Montseng Ramafikeng. Specializing in geology, Melissa Brown. Mpo Vele. Specializing in hydrogeology, Reino Germeshuis, with distinction. Specializing in meteorology, André Fourie, with distinction. Nontsikelelo Maduna. Specializing in physics, Chapiso Kadi, with distinction. Chechofatso Mashabela, with distinction. Katlejo Muhamisi, with distinction. Modisa Ntobeng, with distinction. Specializing in science education, Francina Futani, with distinction. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science Honours in Chemistry. Neil Berkenbosch with distinction, and he also receives the Brooker Prize for the best student in physical chemistry for the degree BSc Honours. Martinez Botha. Yvonne Claessens. Samantha Halford. Stefan Henning with distinction. Tatjana Klein with distinction. Natasha Kotze with distinction. Daniel McFarlane. Kelden Schroeder with distinction. Pomolo Sima. Tia Smuts with distinction. Dean van Heerden. In Engineering and Environmental Geology, Robert Fourie. Seledu Makobe. Riabetswe Mutle. Itumeleng Nkosi. Tian Swircher with distinction. In Geoinformatics, Karen Benjamin. Dion Karlitz with distinction. Emmanuel Gabana. Brett Hazen. Sinkediwe Majikijela. Ntokozo Mnikati. Tlologelo Muraba. Joshua Pretorius, with distinction. And the next candidate, please. Can we have some silence for the next candidate, please? Thank you. Tumelo Shwacha. Simpiwe Skonde. Sonet Vermaak. In geology, Tato Boloka. Vikromde Polchejo. Dieketseng Boshomani. Teboho Kazamula, with distinction. Sileso Mabude. Ntlamulo Mafueka. Lutendo Mani. Zandile Mapapu. Boyche Pomasetla. Koketso Mochoje. Lebohang Mukwate. Tumelo Nkodi. Elizabeth Vessels. In meteorology, Christian Hatting with distinction. Mzumkulu Maseko. Mulisa Mudau. In physics, Emmanuel Boysons. Tenswalu Chauki. Brendan Kutsia. Patrick Kinsey. Lehlohonolo Mashihu. Paul Tinzing with distinction, and also the Department of Physics Prize for the best student in physics at honors level. Well done. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science Honours in Geography. Albertus Bezuidenhout. Adrian Boysen. Hilai Bosov. Nicola Glazer with distinction. Nokukanya Kanyile. Kaylee Kurner with distinction. Bridget Lotter with distinction. Lesejo Mulale. Mpulwentlen Simandi. Malesecha Tefo. Nomtandazo Zondu. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Chemistry. Eva Baloi. Daniel Buckley. Janae Celia with distinction. Kaylin de Villiers. Boy Ketlo Tlabane with distinction. Marianne Hubert. Stand. And you can look at the camera. Princess Koza. You can go. Lekwane Lekhodi. Nontsikelelo Mapalala. Sunay Martins. Basadi Masemola. Ntlamulo Matebula. Keda Mhlanga. Mpo Mofokeng. Bukamoso Moloto. Nomtandazo Mtembu. Jonela Ndaleni. Morgan Payne. Bianca Smith. Gerard Swanepoel. Christian van der Walt. In Environmental and Engineering Geology, Erin Hughes. James Leroux with distinction. Tabang Poza. Milena Plisic. Kayla Thompson with distinction, and also the Roelof van der Merwe Prize for the best student in structural geology on third-year level. Armand van der Linde. Dayton van der Wissel. In geology, Esther Oukamp. Natasha de Tooy. Charles Hopley. Tumelo Kwabane. Eli Louis. Kimberly Lukele. Frans Mahane. Chimolojo Mane. Ntaku Matibela. Keyuri Mudli. Tumelo Moshidi. Liam Roberts. Marijke van Niekerk. Tariq Walker. In meteorology, S.T. Hay. Gemma Hickenbotham. Ritu Luan. Lulama Mgobozi. Ikaneng Siashala, he also receives the Yuan. He also receives the Johan. Can I have silence, please? Ikaneng Siashala, he also receives the Johan and Sophie van Heerden floating trophy for the student to achieve the highest average mark in meteorology modules at year level 2 and 3. Well done. Yurishka Singh. Physics, Lawrence Bosman. Correction, Lawrence Bosman with distinction. Apologies. Komborero Chavunduka with distinction. Johannes de Lange with distinction. He also receives the Department of Physics Prize for the best student in physics at 300 level. Armand Erasmus. Jordan Green. Kyle Grobler. Kelvin Johnson. Timothy Linsky. Chepang Poteta. Apologies, Potela. Sorry. Amisha Ranchod. Mohammed Rasul. Gabriel Richard. Kutloano Sikosana. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geography. Omega Alifu. Connor Andrew. Leanne Broodryk, she also receives the Margaretha Mes Memorial Prize for a female plant science student with the best average of at least 70% for 3 third-year modules in plant science. The prize is shared. Melokushle Duma. Tiara Kamadu. Tupane Kwale. Erika Leroux. Standwa Malinda. Mukelwe Matonzi. Cameron McLean Banks. Kupano Morisane. Aser Moifo. And the next candidate? Can I have some silence to recognize the next candidate? Thank you. Sekrena Mutapo. Kyle Tron, with distinction. Sunay van Niekerk. Madam Vice Principal, the following candidates have complied with all the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Geoinformatics. Corinne Erasmus. Nhlamulo Honwani. Madinane Ledwaba. Nokulunga Mabena. Maama Marakabey. Morateng Modipane. Honse Mota. Lunamandla Mpasheni, with distinction.
I now request the Dean to introduce to me the candidate for the presentation of the award of the Vice-Chancellor and Principal.
Madam Vice Principal, I have the honor of introducing to you Johannes Zerwig de Lange for the presentation of the award of the Vice-Chancellor and Principal. Johannes Zerwig de Lange complied with all the requirements for the Bachelor of Science in Physics degree on 6 December 2024, and the degree was conferred with distinction. Johannes Zerwig de Lange is acknowledged as the overall top achiever in the Faculty of Natural and Agricultural Sciences for the year 2024. Madam Vice Principal, I request you to present the candidate with the award of the Vice-Chancellor and Principal.
I hereby present Johannes Zerwig de Lange for the award of the Vice-Chancellor and Principal.
Thank you.
Can I ask all the graduates to please stand? Let's give them a hand of applause. Thank you. Now, graduates, you didn't walk this journey on your own. Around you, behind you, are the people that supported you. Please turn to them and thank them for their support. And then last but not least, behind me are the people that probably paid the biggest contribution to your success. So please thank them. We have now come to the end of the proceedings. Before we close, I would like to invite all present to join us for refreshment afterwards in the marquee in front of the Rembrandt Hall. You are requested to stand for the singing of the national anthem and to remain standing until the assembly has been dissolved and the academic procession has left the auditorium. The words of the national anthem will appear on the screens. Please rise. By the power vested in me, I hereby dissolve this Assembly of the University of Pretoria.
Canteamus